Hey guys, so this is our, well, let's put it like this. We boiled on the evaporator for 2 days, and then we got all that down, I don't know, maybe 100 gallons, down to 10 gallons that we brought back to the house here, and we're finishing it on the turkey fryer. And I believe this is a 4-gallon pot, and it is up to about here on the 4-gallon pot, and we're pretty close. The hydrometer's floating in the cup. Not quite there yet. Probably have to boil down another inch or so. So maybe we'll end up with figuring if half the pot's 2 gallons, maybe we'll end up with 2.5 gallons, something like that, here in the next hour or so. And yeah, it went good. You know, it was a good first boil. Katie did most of the hard work. She was out there most of the day yesterday splitting logs that were frozen to the ground, taking them all, knocking them off, getting them unstuck from the ground, and throwing them on the wood splitter while, I don't know what I was doing. I was out monkeying around. I had chainsaw issues trying to help a neighbor. Had to run to the store. Was watching the kids. And she likes kind of being alone out in the woods and doing some of that stuff, but I think she's probably pretty sore today because that was some pretty tough work. Last night I was boiling down. I did this from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock last night, so 4 hours. And Katie started this today at 1:30. It's got to be 5:30ish, 6 o'clock right now, and we're just about to the point where we're done. So we probably could have boiled it down more in the evaporator to make this part of the process go a little faster, but it's a fine line. You know, you don't want to boil it down too much and scorch the pan. As it gets closer to syrup, you know, it gets a little harder to control on a big evaporator. So I guess I don't mind taking a little more time here in the garage. By the way, don't mind the garage. It's been a long, cold winter, and I know where everything is back here, I promise you. It's just, it's a bit of a mess, but we'll get that cleaned up once maple syrup season's over. And yeah, so right now my thermometer's reading 221, but I don't really trust that, so I've got my hydrometer here. Let's take a reading and see what we have. So I've got my cup here that's been warming in the syrup. Get it nice and warm, fill it up, drop the hydrometer in, and it's raised up to 55. And we need to get to 59 for the hot test. So 59, we're at 55 Brix, we got to get to 59 Brix. About 15 minutes ago, it was at 54 Brix. So I don't know, maybe another half hour to an hour. We will have 2.5 maybe gallons of maple syrup. Always got to clean the hydrometer off. The maple syrup sticks to it, makes it weigh more than it should, and you get a false reading on the hydrometer. So we keep a cup of water that we can wash it off with. Boom, second camera angle. See more of my disaster of a garage. Yeah, so this weekend I was supposed to help a neighbor. He had quite a few decent-sized trees he was dropping. He owns the woods right next to mine, and he wants to put a garden back there. So he was trying to cut, you know, maybe a 200 foot by 200 foot area, so that he could get some good sunlight in there for his garden. And I was out there for maybe 20 minutes, and I threw a chain. I lost there's like a little washer inside the, I don't know, the flywheel, whatever you want to call it, the sprocket, and the chain dinged my bar, so the chain won't flow through it freely anymore, so I ended up having to run to the store, and I wasn't really much help. But he got his tractor on the trees that he did drop down, and he drug them up to where our new sugar shack is, so that over the summertime we can cut them up, split them up, and by next season they'll be nice and ready to go. So that was really cool of him. It also broke my heart because he was burning brush, and he brought home, I mean, like a 20-foot trailer load, 20-foot long trailer, 8 feet high of these pallet boxes that his work uses, and he just burned them all to make a brush fire. And I was looking at him drooling, going, man, I really could use some of those from a maple syrup. But he had a pretty good sized fire going out there this weekend. Yeah, so it's Monday night, and just gonna sit here and boil the rest of this down. Everything inside for the most part is ready to go. The bottles are all sanitized, and to do that we just throw them in our dishwasher. It has a sanitize cycle, just a super high heat deal thing, I think. So we do that for all the bottles, and so yeah, we're ready to bottle here once this gives me a good reading. We got to do it a little different this year. Normally we do it in our kitchen. We got the stove going, and we kind of go back and forth. And I'll get some video of that, but this year we're doing it in our laundry room, so we're gonna have to kind of get our, like, we're kind of used to the kitchen, right? We got our moves down. We know where to go when, and what the next step is, type of a thing. So this year is going to be all new, so it'll be a little interesting. Every now and again, get a little bit of gunk floating on top. Scoop it out. Yeah, so what we'll do here when this is done is I guess I haven't thought that far ahead exactly the first step. Basically what we got to do is we got to get this while it's still hot into, we've got a big stainless steel coffee urn. You got to dump that in there and then turn it on so that it stays up to temperature, about 185 degrees. And normally we do is carry this in and put it on the stove to keep it warm, but we can't do that this year. Well, we can, but we're trying to do everything in our laundry room because it really is messy, and we just redid our kitchen, and neither of us are too keen on making a huge mess in there right now. So Katie's out in the woods right now collecting sap. It was a good day today. I know it ran. It was 42 and sunny all day, and it was a pretty good freeze last night. I think it got down into the low 20s. So it probably took a little while for them to warm up, the trees to warm up today, but I bet by about noon or 1 o'clock they were flowing pretty good. And the whole week looks good. Looks like it's going to be good maple syrup weather all week, so I think we're going to have a busy weekend coming up, which is great. My son finished his basketball this past Saturday, so we got nothing to do next weekend, which is good because we're going to have a whole lot to do next weekend. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it off the hydrometer there. Sure does look like maple syrup. It's not dripping. Close. But it's that last little bit, taking it from 55 to 59 Brix. I mean, that's the difference between not maple syrup and maple syrup, so it just takes a little bit more patience. How's it?
What are those two barrels on the hill down here? Are they 50 gallon? What are those? 45?
Those are 50 gallons.
They're 50 gallons, so... Got about 90 gallons out in the woods today.
So, I mean, what else are you gonna do when you're out here sitting by the boil than watch other people on YouTube boiling maple syrup? Couple good guys that I found. You may or may not be subscribed to them. If you're not, I highly recommend it. One is Joe over at YB Family Farm. I think it's YB Family Farm. Joe's got a pretty good farm life, farm life type show. Pretty heavy on maple syrup when it's in season, which I love. Another guy that I just stumbled across that I really like is I think it's Cheap Homesteading. I don't know him real well. I've watched a bunch of his videos, but seems to have some really good content on there. Enjoy watching those. And then the other one I'm real big on, because I'm building a log cabin, is one called The Outsider. He's a more popular channel. I'm sure if you guys have watched my log cabin videos, you're probably already subscribed to him, but he's got some pretty cool content of him building kind of an off-grid log cabin out in the middle of nowhere. So those are three really good channels I like. What else? Emma Tales Outdoors. Again, kind of a log cabin building channel. They got more than that, but that's what I'm into on theirs, and pretty cool little channel. I say little, I have no idea how many subscribers they have, but pretty good channel. And there was another guy that I was watching, can't find it on my phone here right now. Thought it was really good. An older guy, Worm Gitter. Worm, Gitter. Pretty cool channel, again, building a log cabin. So I've learned a lot from some of those guys on building cabins. I've learned a lot from YB Family Farm on maple syrup. He's kind of in the same spot as me. He does things a little differently. He has a reverse osmosis and does buckets and uses the tractor to collect the buckets and whatnot, but we have a pretty similar setup, so it's kind of cool to see his results and then kind of compare them to my results. But yeah, man, what else are you going to do when you're out here? You watch YouTube videos. Yesterday I was watching the Michigan State basketball game for the Big Ten Championship, Go Green, and that was pretty cool. Pretty good game. But we don't get cell service down at the Sugar Shack, and that's why I like to finish in the garage here. It's just a little perk of being so close to home. You can watch your YouTube. Let's see where we're at. Oh, that popped up. Alright, so we were at 57 and we got to get to 59. That was maybe 15 minutes since I last measured it. So it's going quicker. Leave that in there. Clean this one off. It's looking real syrupy. There's a won't come out on camera, I don't think, but there's definitely a nice syrup layer on top that you can see. And I'm in a bad spot where Katie's down in the woods collecting sap from all the barrels and cleaning up down there. Cleaning up the Sugar Shack, getting ready for tomorrow's boil, and I'm gonna have to handle some of this by myself. I think maybe I'll just kill the heat and let it sit until keep it at 185 until she gets back, because this really is kind of a two-man job, especially in trying to do it in our laundry room for the first time.